at that point. So now with this addition of Gronk, you've got Tom Brady now with everything else that they already had. It was just Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, who's another really good tight end, which I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa tries to move now that they have Gronk. Does this put pressure on Bruce Arians to win now? Like, you've got to win this year?
Well, first, good mention. I think that, like you mentioned, Cameron Brate, the Tampa Bay has a few moving pieces now, obviously with the addition of Gronk and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think they have a few moving pieces, and we're going to see it coming up here with the draft. I think we're going to see a lot of movement within this draft. And again, we'll talk about that here in a different episode. But there's a lot of things that are going to change within this draft.
Yeah.
Is there pressure on Bruce Arians? I don't know immediately.
I think there is.
I think that the window has shrunk. Obviously, with Tom Brady, like if they don't make the playoffs, the pressure is certainly going to be on. But I think they brought in Bruce Arians for the long term. I think that was one of the things. I again, go back to we didn't think he was going to be retired forever. I think Bruce Arians fits that mold. He wasn't a guy who we thought was not going to coach ever again. But again, it took a lot to bring him out of retirement. I would be surprised if they put him on such a short leash where if they aren't Super Bowl contenders or even playoff contenders this season, I don't think that that's the end of the road. I think they're going to give him a little bit more leeway. I think this does put additional pressure, but given Tampa Bay and the background, I think that they have to give him more of a leash going forward. You can't say if you don't win with Tom Brady, then we can't have you as the head coach. I think there has to be still the original plan, because I don't think anybody expected Tom Brady to come out into the open market.
But that you don't think that changes their plans at all? That now all of a sudden you've added a guy, the greatest of all time, who is also 43 years old. You think they're still operating in the long-term mentality?
I think they still have to. I think you got to remember, we're working with a franchise who has the worst winning percentage of all time. So the perspective with Tampa Bay is, if you're a contender. Now, I know John Gruden won a Super Bowl down there with Brad Johnson as the quarterback, but
he also won it with Tony Dungy's defense.
Well, yeah, but the expectation in Tampa Bay, when you look at the history of the franchise, the expectation in Tampa Bay is
what expectations?
Exactly, be mediocre. And so I think, if Bruce Arians can put them in position, and obviously with Tom Brady and Gronkowski and all the other weapons they have, if they put them in contention to be Super Bowl contenders this season, again, I mentioned I think that they're playoff contenders no matter what. I think that buys him the opportunity, because there is no expectation in Tampa Bay. It's similar to being the Bengals coach. What is the expectation here in Cincinnati? Is the expectation to win a Super Bowl, or is it just to be 8-8 football team? I think
the expectation in Cincinnati is to not be the 1990s.
Yeah, and not to be the number one pick, which, again, we have here in Cincinnati again. I think Tampa Bay, the expectation is similar. When you have the worst winning percentage in the history of the NFL, it's hard to have expectations where you're going to be a perennial Super Bowl contender. So as long as you're putting a competitive team on the field, and however you want to define competitive, whether it's NFL or whether it's playoff contention or Super Bowl contention, I think that Bruce Arians has the green light or the window to take his time. And again, I think that Tom Brady immediately makes them contenders, but if this experiment fails, I don't think this is the end of Bruce Arians' tenure in Tampa Bay.